Hi, my name is Karen Holmes. I'm the founder and director of the World Peace Organization for the One World Government. The Catholic Church in America project has spun off from that. I am the founder and director of the World Peace Organization for the One World Government, but I'm also responsible for the Catholic Church in America project. And I wanted to explain a little bit to you how I got to this where I am now in my life. I'm a very average person. I was a dental hygienist for many years. If you had gone to the dentist and I cleaned your teeth over the years, I worked in several states and even on an Air Force base. I'm just a very average person. In the early 1990s, I started a prayer circle, and I'm kind of an unusual situation. For some people would consider that to be unusual because my father, as I was growing up, we didn't find out about it until after he passed away, but my father was a Polish Jew, of Polish descent, a Jew, and my mother was a Catholic, and basically we were raised. I come from a family with 6 kids, and we were raised in the Lutheran Church as a. This is a stray that has adopted me. I was raised in the Lutheran Church, and because it was kind of like halfway between the two, it came down to the point where when I was little, we moved into a house that was 2 blocks away from a Lutheran church. So we were raised. When I was confirmed in the Lutheran church, and when I got into college, I walked away from religion completely for a while. There was the Campus Crusade for Christ that was going along, and I was so logical at that time. I didn't believe in it. It was like, I didn't believe. I walked away from the church because it was as if I couldn't rationalize the God that I loved could do things that I believed were not fair. I wanted a God who was fair, that was going to not leave anybody out, that was going to somebody that I could trust and that I could love. I didn't want somebody who was going to be vindictive and judgmental and such. So basically I walked away from I was too logical at that time. I was focused on my education. So I became a dental hygienist. I thought then I hit a point in my life where I hit a crisis point, and I asked God for help. And then I met a man who basically his mother was a psychic, a channel, a prophet, and she gave me some information. And then he got me started reading on spiritual books, and that was basically all I ever did. I probably read 1,000 spiritual books, and I learned more and more and more. And then I got into a situation where a friend of mine said that there was going to be a psychic fair in another town and wanted me to go along with her to it, and so I went, and I got a reading done, and the reading said that if I was going to they told me my spiritual gift was to be a seer, to get visions. And then I started to get visions, and I would wake up and I kept a log of everything that I got, and then I started a prayer circle. So the woman basically who was at the psychic fair gave me some information. I contacted her after the fair, and she gave me information about how to start a prayer circle. So I did that. And at first nobody came, and then it started to grow. The woman who we went to the psychic fair, she worked with me a little bit, and then we brought in another woman, an elderly woman who had owned a psychic bookstore down in San Jose. So between us, the three of us, my friend had a psychic gift and was so fast and such a natural at it that I couldn't compete with her. And then the older woman brought in a whole bunch of people from the local area. She was very lonely, so the three of us together were able to create this prayer circle. And then my friend who basically took me to the psychic fair, basically she left, and all of a sudden it was just the elderly woman with all the friends and me. And my gifts started to come out at that point in time. I started to develop other gifts, and I worked and developed it. And my gift from God, the creator of us all, is to be able to communicate with anyone on the other side. So then I started to work on, in 1999, one of our guides from the prayer circle. It was absolutely remarkable what accomplished. I will put a link to what the prayer circle was in the description box down below. And then what happened was I started to work on books in 1999 with one of my guides, Seth, who was famous with Jane Roberts, and who channeled. At the time, they sold over 7 million books. So he came through and he started writing books with me. So far, we've pretty much finished 2 of them: a manual for peace and a manual for the one world government. And then we continued on, and we've been writing. I started a catalog of books, and basically that's where we are now. So then the plan for world peace, it's taken a long time. When I finished a manual for peace, Seth asked me to send it to a publisher, and a particular publisher, and it was rejected. He came back. He said, Seth, I assumed that this was going to be real easy. And he said 1 million people had to be in the right time and place and frame of mind for the books to go forward. Then he said 1 billion people had to be in the right time and place and frame of mind for the books to go forward. So we've just about reached the point now where the books are going forward, and I had to be ready too. So now that's where it is. So in December of 1999, partway through a manual for the one world government, Seth came to me. We stopped. He stopped right in the middle of the book, and he said, today something happened. He said, you passed one of your spiritual tests. And he said, now I'm giving you your spiritual name. And your spiritual name is Suzerainda. And Suzerainda Melchizedek. Okay, so he told me that I am a Melchizedek. So I wanted to tell you, I've looked on the internet, and looking at it, he told me that you could say the definition of a Melchizedek is like a Green Beret or a Navy SEAL who comes into a situation and from the inside works on it, and basically it's during very difficult times that a Melchizedek will come and work on it and raise people up. Okay, so that's pretty much what it is. An angel works from the outside and of the crisis and doesn't get involved. Like I said, it's from the inside of the crisis and raising people up. Jesus of Nazareth is a Melchizedek, and when he came, he basically faced the idea of the Romans taking over the Holy Land, and you know this story about that. So my job right now with the Catholic Church in America, which I said is kind of ironic because my dad was a Polish Jew, descended from Polish Jews. My mother is a Catholic, and their families didn't get along very well. They were not happy about them getting married, and I was raised as a Lutheran. So now all of a sudden I find myself as in the Catholic Church of America. And the reason for that is because now this is the second story about this. When I was watching, I don't remember what year it was, when Pope John Paul II passed away. I was watching his funeral, and I was staying in the house of a man, house sitting for the man while he was in the hospital. I had taken care of his house, so I was watching the news, watching the funeral. And when I was young, I thought about becoming a nun, believe it or not. And I was very spiritual when I was little. I thought about becoming a nun, and then as I got older, and I was looking for this spiritual. I was becoming more reading all the books and everything. I thought about going into the seminary, and I even got an application to go into the seminary. So I've always been interested in religion and theology, and I've studied God for a long time. When I was watching the funeral, one of my guides came through. It was Karol Wojtyla. It was his body that was on the bier there, and he told me that God had named me as the Olive Pope. And I thought, hey, there's no way that anybody from the Vatican is ever going to come and tell me, like the way the Buddhists are like the Dalai Lama is named, and their great leaders. There was no way that anyone was ever going to come and name me as the next pope. So I said, no. He said, I nearly walked away from it then and again, saying, this is too far-fetched. And then he told me that the reason is because it was God who was naming me. He said there's always two popes at the beginning or the end of a cycle. So it was Jesus of Nazareth and Simon Peter, who were the first two popes, and then it was Joseph Ratzinger and I who were the last two popes. I was the Olive Pope, named before Ratzinger. Joseph Ratzinger became the Pope, and then that happened. And then now I'm responsible. Then now I have become, because I'm the Olive Pope, named by God, the creator of us all, not the old man on the throne idea. God is the one who basically named me this, and then I don't have the glory. Basically, I have the responsibility. I go into the problems that are here, and then the Olive Pope is basically somebody who's working to bring peace. And I'm the head of a nonprofit organization to bring up with a plan for world peace. So that explains that. One of my guides is also Saint Malachi, and we've done a book on that. We've done information on that. So explaining all of this. So now that's where it is. The Catholic Church in America is addressing from outside the Catholic Church. We're addressing issues that are two things that cannot be resolved from within the Catholic Church, and they're both seven deadly sins. One of them is the sexual abuse by the priests, and the other one is acts of terrorism as a result of the Crusades, that came from the Crusades. Right now, there's as I'm channeling this, there is a war going on between Hamas and Israel. And let's say 1,400 Jews were killed in a terrorist attack that started it, and now the Jews, the Israelis are going after Hamas, and the Palestinians are having problems. So you could say that there is a problem about that, and I'll go into that in a different video. And then the other thing is sexual abuse by the priests. Okay, and now what I'm going to tell you is this project is basically spinning off from the World Peace Marketing Strategy idea that's part of the organization. It has to do with a row of people, the people who are interested in power. The Faith of the Pure Ray unifies the world's 7 major religions. It's like everybody's backwards. We're at a point in crisis where everybody's backwards, and to deal with it, we have to kind of get turned around, and then we have to get back on track. Okay, it's like we're going the wrong direction. We want to go up, and people think revenge is going to help us, so they go down. And it doesn't. It's like people are doing crazy things. So I'll go into the idea of Armageddon and the rapture, and I'll go into Christianity, the principles of Christianity, and I'll go into the 7 deadly sins, and I'm going to go into all these different things. Now, I'm going to tell you something here, that I have, the Catholic Church in America has a newsletter, and our newsletters, this is what it's going to look like. This is just the original. This is like our preliminary things that we'll have them available. You'll find out how you can get a subscription for this when I bring together the professional publishing team. Right now I'm an amateur, and my amateur books go to our independent members. Okay, so I'm just an amateur at publishing my own books, and basically they're not good enough for the general public. Well, we're going to be selling them at our bookstores. So now this is all of our newsletters, Catholic Church in America. All of our newsletters are the same for the organization. Every project basically will have a newsletter. That's this one for the Catholic Church in America, and it will, each one starts out, each issue, each volume, in 1 year there'll be a volume, and then there'll be a certain number of issues, and it starts out each volume 1. When you get a subscription, all the subscriptions start out with volume 1, issue 1, and then they carry the idea, let's say the worst case scenario crisis for what's going on. And then what it does is that each one goes through volume by volume and issue by issue, all the way to the end, where that's where world peace is. Okay, so when you start out with a volume, no matter what, you'll always get volume with a new subscription. It'll always come out with volume 1, issue 1, and it doesn't matter what the date is on it. You know, most newsletters, they'll send out something and you get the, let's say the newest edition, the newest issue, and that's not how this works. So it's going to become with all the different ones that we have, it's going to all work this way. And this one is a supplement from this is the supplement that we have, volume 1 supplement. This is the initial one that you can get when you first subscribe. You can get this, and then you'll get it at a certain time. And this one talks about the backlash against Christians. There's going to be a backlash against Christians, and it explains what let's say it was Carol Wojtyla, Pope John Paul II, I channeled this article by him, and he says the definition of a good Christian. So he goes and clarifies things that are misunderstandings within the Catholic Church, within the Christian Church, because of course Catholicism is the tree trunk basically of all the other denominations and sects, whatever the sects that came off from those. So they all come from the same trunk. Okay, so now these newsletters, I'll put information when the newsletters are available, or they're probably going to be available in our stores when they're ready. But they will start at the beginning of the worst case scenario of the crisis, and then it will go all the way to the end. So Carol Wojtyla, John Paul II, is going to be coming through, and he's going to be explaining about the backlash against the Christians, because at this point in time there's going to be a backlash against the Christians, people who believe that in the battles of Armageddon that they were going to be saved. It's not that you believe, it's what you believe. So therefore, that's all I wanted to talk about today in this video about. I wanted to introduce myself, how I got here, how I'm working to raise people up and out of the crisis situation, and these newsletters, when they start to come out, and we'll have them available so you can get a subscription and support the work that we're doing. I have to bring in other people to help me do that. So I ask that you of course go through the like, share, and subscribe to support the channel, and I ask that you comment below on this. The Catholic Church in America project is going to be, and combined with the Faith of the Pure, that's unifying the religions, and all these other, the World Peace Marketing Strategy. Please go on to the World Peace Organization for the One World Government and find out more. I'm the founder of that, but right now this is my shipping department, because this is where I work during the day. I am, like I said, I'm an average person, and I'm working to create the plan for the international government. I am no different than anybody else. Okay, so that's all I wanted to talk about today. Thank you for being here and listening to this, and thank you for following through on this idea. He said keep in touch and be sure to comment about everything. So that's all for today. Thank you.